Hello everyone, so today I will want to read Jisatsu No Tame No No Houhou. It's a very popular Denpa visual novel that is in top 3 Denpa visual novels. And finally we have gotten the English translated version of it, so I would like to read it today. And first I wanted to say I actually did make a video about this, but sadly I accidentally deleted it. I deleted the video that was 50 minutes long, so I'm redoing it right now. I'm feeling a little bit depressed right now, so I might not do so long. I'm so dumb. Like, why did I deleted it? So yeah, this is the second time I'm gonna read it. I did not read everything, and also I want you guys to know that my English isn't that good, so there will be bad pronunciation words in English. And I have read this once in Japanese, but I did not read everything. I only read the first part, so I know the basic story. And also there will be a few scenes for 18+, so I will be skipping those parts or editing them out. I also want to you guys let you know that there will be some words, for example like this. I don't think YouTube allows these words that I can say, so I'm gonna change them a little bit that YouTube will allow them. So yeah, let's start it. The word. Everything is the word. Yet, what is the word? By what means can the word be defined? The word can be defined by what means? By what word can be defined? Can be defined by what means the word? Defined by what word can be means? Word by means can be defined. What word by means can be defined? Means by what? A hazy mist hangs faintly over my mind. Gelatized thoughts sluggishly claw dripping down my skull. Can a stake be driven into this endless chaos? Is it possible to drive in a stake as a fixed point? For example, what might that be? For someone like me who can no longer find certainty in tubes, what is left for me? For example, could it be action? Or could it be something else? Something else? 101 methods of dying. What's up with that guy? Trying to get attention probably. This is bad. He's dead if he falls. How high is it? 10 meters maybe? 100 meters? No way it's that much. Still, he'd die if he fell, right? Will he, too? Aren't the police coming? Did anyone call them? Whoa, he's close. What are the teachers doing? This is bad. Do you think he can make it across? Is this a dying attempt? A thrill seeker? Is this some kind of publicity stunt? Circus advertising? Tightrope walking promo? Seriously, this is bad. What year is he? Doesn't know anyone here? No idea. Somebody called the police already. Is he a baseball team guy? No clue. What happens if he falls? He'll die, won't he? Will he, too? He'll die, right? This is bad. They have been saying this is bad for 3 times already. Ah! He fell. This is bad. Again? Do you think he's dead? He's dead, right? Takuji Torabishi and the strange sound. Yes, this is interesting because the name Takuji is the main character's name here, and Takuji is the same name as in Tsui no Sora and Subarashiki Hibi, where there's the guy named Takuji Mamiya. And I like how their names is this same because it feels like it's kinda connected. Takuji Torabishi first began to hear the sound not too long after the start of the year. Low, undulating and distant. It sounded like a radio static, but it could also have been the gentle lapping of waves. It felt akin to the rain outside the window while half asleep, yet it also felt like none of these things. He wondered if it was coming from a nearby factory, but that did not seem to be the case. It seemed like only Takuji could hear it. He quickly realized it was a hallucination. He questioned if it was some kind of ear disorder, but apart from hearing the sound, he had no other symptoms of impairments. The routine health checkup at school, as always, diagnosed him as having no abnormalities. Yet the sound persisted. Every few months, just when he had forgotten about it, the sound will resonate again with Takuji's ears. Takuji decided to name the sound Grey. Of course, a sound cannot be seen, and the name was nothing more than his impression, but Grey fit the serene texture of the sound so perfectly that it settled into place with uncanny ease. Once he had named it, there was no restating it into any other words. The sound outlined as and defined as Grey took root in Takuji's world under the name. Besides, Takuji reasoned, if the smallest of insects has a name, why shouldn't my sound have a name? One day after hearing Grey, for the upteenth time, Takuji found himself unable to sleep at night. He tried swimming laps in the pools until he was utterly exhausted, listening to the radio through the night or racing his bicycle at full speed through the silent industrial district. But no matter what he did, deep sleep eluded him. Drifting in and out, he would sometimes think he was dreaming, only to realize the scene before him was real. So I wasn't asleep after all, and he was often left in this belief. Each time Grey reverberated deep within his ears. Takuji felt as though something within him was inexplicably lost. He could not clearly define what it was. All he understood was that it lay close to his core, something ancient and most true. I'm sorry, just my voice hurts a little because I have been talking for 15 minutes before and I'm making this, so let me just drink some water, please. Okay, I think it's gotten a little bit better. An endless erosion, piece by piece, taking and falling away himself. Somehow, he felt it was the loss of something that could only be called a sense of reality. In the time, it began to feel as though everything was happening far away. It was as if the world itself was steadily retreating from him. Paradoxically, it also seemed that the boundaries separating him from the world were dissolving, merging them into an indistinct whole. The world was uniformly painted over in grey, devoid of the pulse of life or the stirrings and of emotion. The wave and texture of sensory faded. The fragrance and meaning of the wind disappeared. Gradually his mind began to blur. What happened and what had not? Where did the fantasy and reality begin? What separated things with meaning from those without? Only two paths remained. Either he would become as numb and unfeeling as the world around him, or he would unavoidably choose to cultivate enough imagination to transcend its monotony. Takuji chose the former. He chose to let himself be dyed in grey. And so he thought the following: what should I do? What can I do? What must I do? He could not decide anything. July 30, 2001. A heavy night, damp darkness, a bed cover soaked in sweat, a ceiling board looming oppressively overhead. Enveloped by all of this, Takuji once again heard grey. That sound like gritty, screaming air clinching off and suffocating. Sound. A sound. What's this sound? Is this in my hair? Is this in my head? Is something creaking? Or is it the sound of the world turning grey, like sand, and crumbling apart from its edges? Okay, I'm guessing this was a prologue. Big brother. Raising his head slightly from the pillow, Takuji looked towards his feet. Standing there in the dim light was his younger sister, Samomo. Personally, at first I took it was Sumomo when I was reading it in Japanese, but I'm not very sure because in this translated version it says Samomo. So I guess I'm going to keep calling her Samomo, but I'm gonna check next time and see which one is the correct one. The hem of her white negligee fluttered in the warm, stagnant night air. How strange, Takuji took. Because there was not even the slightest trace of a breeze in the room. Is this a delusion? Ignoring Takuji's question, Samomo spoke in a flat, emotionless tone. It doesn't matter if you climb up or climb down. Either way, it's all the same. What are you talking about? The ladder. The ladder? Please don't ask anything more. Because delusions have no meaning? Perhaps? The faint shimmer of heat emanating from Samomo's soberly distorted the wavy summer air. Her lips were slightly parted, glistening faintly. The pale color of her skin was visible through the fabric of her negligee. Two small curves rose and fell with the rhythm of her breathing. Even in the dim light, her flushed cheeks were unmistakable, glistening softly with sweat. Beneath the short hem of her negligee, her pants and sport bra showed through. Sample white pants with only a small ribbon attached to it. Dipping her hands into the hem of negligee, Samomo slightly leaned her upper body forwards. She pinched the ends of her pants and smoothly stripped them off both her legs. She held the white curled-up pants in her hands. And then she took it up to her nose and inhaled gently. Oh. Okay, get out, Takuji said. Come, Takuji said. So we have now the options. I'm gonna choose the first one because if we say come, we're gonna have the bad scenes, and I'm kind of lazy to edit them out. So get out. Why? I don't want this. It's alright, dreams don't interfere with reality. After all, it's just delusion like always. Someone grabbed the hem of her negligee and slowly raised it in front of him. Okay, I think the options didn't mean anything. Like, I feel like they both went to the same way. Revealing the still youthful divide between her legs, the familiar face hairstyle body of her stepsister. I wonder if the stepsister is like blood-related stepsister or it's non-related one. And attached in between in all, an almost unbecomingly lewd shape. Around the unbleached divide between her tights, soft and faint hair had grown decently. The first time he saw them, the parts of his stepsister. The obscene pleasure device hidden within his pure obedient stepsister. She lived in the same house as Takuji, hiding this vulgar part from him. A wet glistening lump of flesh slipped between her lips, leaking out an almost sticky voice from in between. Let's show each other. It's mean, only making me show it. Show me yours, big brother. If you show me your parts, then I'll do something nice for you. Let's do the things we can't ever tell mom or dad about together, okay? No, go away. Go away. Is this what I want? No, this isn't what I desire. Takuji covered his face with both hands. After letting out a single large sigh, he closed his eyes again. When he opened them once more, the ventilation fan was still spinning, and silence lingered in the air. Only someone's presence was missing. July 30, 2001. A heavy night, damp darkness, a bed cover soaked in sweat. A sailing board looming oppressively overhead. Reality had returned, maybe. The Torabishi family's dining table. Morning. On the dining table, a fork and a knife lay neatly arranged. A knife shaped like a lightning bolt. Staring blankly at it, Takuji murmured softly, "Maybe I should just die." The words lingered heavily at the bottom of the dining room, like an ominous cloud of gas. The knife lay before his eyes, a knife shaped like a lightning bolt. If I were to plunge this into my carotid artery, I would die right. To die. Death. At this point, for Takuji, seriously contemplating death was the only way he could feel alive. The various elements that death entailed, pain, blood loss, fear, still remained tangible within him. He could clearly grasp what death was. For Takuji, pondering the unknown realm of of death was easier than reflecting on the life he was currently living. He placed death alongside life. He touched, tasted, smelled, and examined both, seeking their differences. It was only through this process that Takuji could begin to imagine the contours of what life truly was. To be able to die is proof that one is alive. A dead person cannot die. I can die. Therefore, I am not dead. End of proof. However, imagining death in a truly real sense was exceedingly difficult. This was because merely thinking about death does not equate to actually dying. and naturally he had never experienced death before. Can a man who has never eaten a steak accurately describe steak? Can a woman who has never seen the sea accurately think of seagulls? Can a person who has never said goodbye truly understand loneliness? So lately he had found comfort in indulging in the sweetness of self-loathing. I'm a hopeless human being, lusting after my younger stepsister, Takuji took to himself. Thinking this way made him feel... I'm sorry. Thinking this way made him feel disgusted, sink into an unbearable mood, and from there he could vividly imagine dying. I was about to say the word. He could vividly become aware of life. By the way, it's something random, but today is very, very hot. I think it's around 30 degrees today. Oh my god. I don't think I will be able to sleep tonight. A shallow, clueless female TV anchor was speaking. Professor, lately, more and more people have been using the word dying, haven't they? A self-important commentator responded knowingly. Let's explain this with an example. Sometimes at a social gathering or a drink party, there's a girl who seems kind of out of place. Sitting on the sidelines and not really part of the group, she might quietly say something like, I can see spirits. Oh yes, I've seen that happen. I just noticed there's no background music right now. She might say something like, look, there's an old man with white hair standing in that corner. Well, that's the kind of thing she says. The mentality of young people hinting at dying feels somewhat similar to that, in my opinion. What do you mean? At social gatherings, this girl lacks what you might call weapons. For example, beauty, conversational skills, charm, those qualities that will be effective in a gathering like that, she doesn't have them. So as an easy way to assert her presence, she says, I can see things. She's saying, I have this special ability. Saying, I can see becomes her weapon, compensating from her lack of beauty, conversational skills or charm. Whether it's true or not, only she knows, but if it's real. Then it's no small thing. Because there could be a ghost standing right behind you. So the people around her make a big fuss and focus their attention to her. Saying, I want to die as an appeal is, in that sense, the same as saying, I can see things. Even though the truth of it is something only she knows, it becomes a form of appeal that others can just ignore. I see. Now that you mention it, that might actually be true. If you look at those so-called dying-related websites that were once a hot topic on the internet, it becomes quite apparent. The posts on the message boards of the sites of two sites often take the form of asking for advice about their troubles, but in reality, they're saying, "I'm someone who is troubled and contemplating dying." It's a form of self-promotion. This is me. On those message boards, they're often quite verbose. Most of the posts are fairly well written and are clearly designed with the intent of being read by others as a kind of entertainment. It's not the same as drunkenly scribbling "died in" a train station bathroom. Wait, do you have some grudge against your university? No comment. Well, if you look at trends like the boom in creating personal homepages, it's clear that humans have desire to promote themselves and yearning to talk about me. However, doing as it requires a talent that sets you apart from others and acquires that talent demand effort. For example, if someone wants to draw attention at a park declaring, "Tomorrow I'll build an atomic bomb, destroy the parliament," The statement requires a certain level of believability or realism. It will need the person making the claim to be someone from a science background, as someone with connections to an underground network. In short, it requires a kind of license. But if we turn to something that doesn't require a license, for example, claiming tomorrow I'm going to the pachinko parlor, the level of appeal is much lower. That's when they turn to saying, I'm going to kill myself or I've cut my wrist before. Dying doesn't require any kind of license, and because it's a matter of time and death, it has a high level of appeal. Recently, subcultures are revolving around themes like murder or corpse pornography. Oh my god, did I say that? Photography, I mean. Have been gaining traction. I think one reason for this is that standing out in the crowded space of mainstream culture has become quite challenging. For instance, it's hard to establish a unique identity as someone skilled at snowboarding, but it's much easier to craft an identity as someone unusual who collects corpse photos. Similarly, saying things like I want to die or I've cut my wrist before is an easily accessible and powerful weapon that anyone can create from scratch. A male guest with a serious expression concludes the discussion. Well, there are, of course, people who are genuinely cornered whether mentally or financially and seriously contemplating dying. So well, it's not something we can discuss too lightly. But well, you see, when young people talk about dying or such things, well, it's essentially the same as how we used to get into philosophy as well, or well, politics back in the day. Reading Descartes or advocating communism, for example, it was more about adopting the persona of someone who engages in philosophy or a believer in communism. It was an intellectual style, really. In short, it was a fashion. So, dying as a fashion, you say. That's kind of a shocking statement, I wonder. Are our viewers managing to keep up with this conversation? The number I carry is not one that can be easily resolved, Takuji reflected. Takuji fully understood the kind of cheap rationalization being tossed around ATV these days. He did not just understand it, he understood it all too well. And that was exactly why it filled him with shame. A powerful, searing sense of shame. By raising his voice about dying and death, he feared that he might be dressing himself in the same mass market fashion as everyone else, that he might be reduced to a clean-cut statistic, that he might become nothing more than proof of weakness, and the talk of that humiliated him. Girls playing at dying for attention. Youths casually talking about wanting to die. People collecting grotesque symbols like photographs of corpses as a form of quirky identity. Being lumped together with such things was something he simply could not tolerate. The smug categorization of the knowing commentators, the condescending conclusion of the grim-faced guests. Takuji's pride was far too strong to accept being included among them. The pride, a youthful sense of purity, and the arrogant belief that he was different would not allow it. There are pains that can be softened by speaking them aloud. Knowing this, people often share their troubles, sometimes jokingly, sometimes earnestly, as a means of relief. But Takuji had turned his back on such solace, choosing instead of to comfort the version of himself consumed by thoughts of death head-on. Those dark reflections were buried in his chest, where their festered and crystallized into something grotesque, a massive black and unbearably heavy mass. And so his descent into chaos began. Delusions of self-hatred. At first, they had been a way for him to grasp some sense of vitality, but lately he had been drowning in them. And after the crashing wave of that self-hatred settled in, he would find himself thinking maybe he really should just die. There was no escape. Oh, is that Sumomo? Oh yeah, it is. So I think for today I'm gonna stop it here. I'm feeling a little bit tired. Normally I have been doing it more than that, but the video accidentally stopped. So yeah, I'm going to continue this maybe tomorrow. Anyway, good night and goodbye.